Proud to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania. This is WNEP 16, the news station. Now, Frank Andrews, Dorothy Lucey, meteorologist Noreen Clark, and Jay Kristopher on sports. This is Newswatch 16 this morning.
Good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday. It is the 17th of November. I'm Frank Andrews. Right now, 29 minutes before 7 a.m. And in a moment on Newswatch 16 this morning, we'll tell you about a traffic accident in Archbald that knocked out power to 700 Up Valley homes. But first, we take a look at today's forecast from the backyard with our morning meteorologist, Noreen Clark. Good morning, Noreen.
Good morning, Frank. Morning, everyone. We have cold, gusty winds outside today. Snow flurries may leave a dusting in the valleys with up to an inch possible in the higher elevations. Details on this and much more coming up shortly.
Thank you, Noreen. Now, if you live in the Mid-Valley or Up-Valley regions of Lackawanna County and your clock seems to be a little bit out of kilter this morning, that's because your electric power was off for a few hours this morning. Police officials in Archbald tell Newswatch 16 that a car hit a utility pole at about 3:30 this morning, knocked out power to 690 customers' homes in the Archbald and Carbondale area. Some of those homes still without power right now. Pennsylvania Power and Light Company crews are on the scene in Archbald trying to get things back to normal. Those crews say things in Archbald, Peckville, and Carbondale should be back to normal in a few hours. By the way, if you'd like to reset your clock, right now 28 minutes before 7 a.m. Sometime today, the U.S. Senate in Washington should get to a bill that could give people living in Centralia $42 million to finally move away from the threat of a mine fire that has plagued them for the last 21 years. Last night, Newswatch 16's Bob Costantini visited Centralia to talk to people living there about that vote.
A cold, rainy night in Centralia. You know the mine fire is right below because of the steam coming up through the ground. Experts say the fire is moving under homes in Centralia, and many homeowners will be glad to get away from it.
Yeah, we're ready to leave. Due to the fact we have a lot of gas in the wintertime.
An air monitor in the home of Alice Klowatsky is a constant reminder of what she's afraid of breathing, the gases coming up from underground.
I'm really glad that they have finally done something because we cannot stay here. We have high gases, and finally they have done something, and they're going to finally help us.
Joe Teig doesn't feel that way. For 72 years he's lived in Centralia, but knows now he may have to leave.
I don't want to move. No, I don't want to move. But the way things are, if they move the town, I'll have to move. There's no question about that.
Homeowners who do want to stay in what would be left of this town can do so. But going door to door, most say they'll leave if the government buys their homes. The mine fire has been burning underneath here for 21 years. The final action in Congress is another milestone in at least getting the people who want to move away from this the chance to do so. President Reagan has said he will sign the bill, and he's expected to do that later this week. Bob Costantini, Newswatch 16, Centralia.
You know, that bill for Centralia was supposed to have been voted on yesterday in Washington, but it seems to be a little less important in some lawmakers' minds than the national debt. Last night, the lawmakers in Washington worked on a bill that would allow the federal government to go $60 billion with the B dollars deeper into debt. That issue on the limit of how much into the red this government can go, still on top of Congress' priority list this morning. City of Scranton is $2 million in debt. That's red ink that was handed down from the Hickey administration a few years ago. Now Scranton Mayor McNulty has introduced his version of the 1984 budget. He says it's time to bite the bullet, to quote the mayor. He said he'd like to hire more police officers, but he'd also like to cut spending by 10% in all Scranton city offices. That way, he says, over the years, that $2 million Scranton debt can be reduced. The mayor's proposed budget does not have any tax hike in it for Scranton people. It has been given to City Council so it can look over the plan, make any changes it feels are important to taxpayers in the city of Scranton. Pittston City Council met last night. Meeting room was packed. Two important issues that came up. The first one, taxes. And as the group is planning its 1984 budget, so far no tax increase is planned. Now the other subject that came up last night, Pittston Mayor Robert Loftus' indictment recently on vote fraud charges. Newswatch 16's Bob Reynolds spoke to one councilman about the possible effect of that on the people in Pittston.
We're all going to be back January 1st. You're going to have a new mayor. You're going to have a councilman. I can't see what anything is going to go wrong.
Mayor Loftus of Pittston is due to be arraigned and sentenced in federal court on December 6th. His attorney says he will plead guilty in connection with those federal vote fraud charges. The weekend is shaping up to be a cold one, and when we return, we'll go out to the backyard for details of this morning's weather picture as Newswatch 16 this morning for Thursday continues, 24 before 7 a.m.
Eastwood gets tough with sassy women.
You know what you are? Just trash. A bottle of whiskey for courage and the manners of a goat.
And the Outlaws. Clint Eastwood is the High Plains Drifter tomorrow at 4, only on NEP 16.
Good morning, everyone. 22 minutes before 7 a.m. Let's get some details on this morning's weather. Good morning, Noreen.
Good morning, Frank. Morning, everyone. The gates have swung wide open for cold air to come rushing in on us today. The gusty winds are going to make it feel a lot colder than it actually is outside. Here in the backyard right now, it is a chilly 37 degrees. It's very damp. We've had a shower earlier this morning, and it's now turning to snow flurries. The relative humidity is high at 85%. The winds are out of the southwest, and they're gusty at 12 miles per hour. And the barometric pressure, well, it's beginning to rise. Over the area this morning, we have chilly temperatures along with some snow flurries. Here in the Wilkes-Barre area at the airport, it has mixed with some rain, but in the Scranton area, it's gone over to complete snow flurries. Up in Towanda, 32 degrees. The Poconos, a freezing 32 with light snow. Hazleton, 35. Sunbury, 36. Pottsville, 37. The Allentown area, 39 degrees. Williamsport, 35. And out in State College, they are getting some snow. Light snow flurries with 32 degrees. And in the map today, we're looking at the storm that brought us rain. It brought us some light rain overnight. It's now changing to snow flurries. Cold air is pushing in, rushing in over us. It will be gusty winds today with snow flurries. Accumulations of up to an inch are possible in the elevations with a dusting in the valleys. Out to the west, if you're headed out to the Erie or Pittsburgh area, there will be more of a chance for an accumulation there. There's about 3 inches on the ground out there right now, and with squalls off of the Great Lakes, it is possible to get another few inches out there. So if you're traveling, use some caution out in the western portion of the state. Tomorrow, high pressure builds in to bring us some sunshine. It should be a pretty nice day. The winds won't be quite as strong as they are today. And then on Saturday, we'll have increasingly cloudy skies as the storm is now developing over the plains. It'll move in to cloud up our skies and bring us some rain possibly by Sunday. Interested in the health watch? Well, today we look average as far as resistance to aches and pains and your mood, but notice that the reflexes and the ability to concentrate are high, so it's not too bad a day. A mixed bag as far as the health watch is concerned. And we're looking at a cold, gusty day as far as the winds are concerned. Snow flurries could accumulate up to an inch in the higher elevations, a dusting in the valley areas. Temperatures will remain in the 30s during the day. It's very chilly. Dress warm as you're headed out. Partly cloudy, breezy, and cold overnight. The low 28. Tomorrow we're looking for some sunshine, less wind, and a high of 43. Increasingly cloudy on Saturday with a high of 45. And it looks like rain is likely on Sunday with a high near 40. So the wind chill at times today will be about 15 degrees. I'd wear the gloves and the heavy jacket. It'll help. Frank?
I hope we don't have to shovel any of the snow flurries. Thank you, Noreen. You know, there are quite a few uneasy workers making the news this morning. There are at least 3 strikes to report on that affect hundreds of people in this area. Newswatch 16's Dorothy Lucey is in our Wilkes-Barre newsroom now to explain some of those. Good morning, Dorothy.
Good morning, Frank, and you couldn't be more correct. Good morning, everybody. This morning, strikes could be keeping your kids home from school. They could be keeping you home if you'd like a weekend getaway. And a potential strike could really hit home. It could hurt your health care. First, let me tell you which students in the Nanticoke School District can climb back under their covers and go to sleep this morning. The selective teacher strike there has affected these schools this morning. Nanticoke Junior High, K.M. Smith Elementary, and Kosciuszko Elementary all closed today. As you know, the teachers have been working there without a contract for about 2 school years. And not far from where I'm sitting, there is trouble brewing at Mercy's Hospital. I spoke to a nurse there yesterday, and she tells me about 500 100 nurses and technical workers there may be on the picket lines by this weekend. Talks are set up to try and head off the walkout, but sources say both sides are far apart. That strike at Wilkes-Barre's Mercy Hospital could affect just about everybody there, except doctors and clerical workers. And finally, officials at Greyhound, this nation's largest bus company, say they are starting up bus service this morning, despite the fact that 12,000 employees are on strike. Some bus runs from Philadelphia to bigger cities across the country are scheduled with new, recently trained drivers. Company officials say armed security guards will also ride with you on a Greyhound bus as the strike enters its second week. So we have one strike in its second week, one strike in its second school year, and another strike that hasn't started yet. Talk there has only just begun. Dorothy Lucey, Newswatch 16, with a live report from the Wilkes-Barre newsroom.
Thank you very much, Dorothy. And Newswatch 16 this morning continues in a moment with more local news, weather, and sports.
Everything from whitewater to black powder to beavers, biking, and bows, from copperheads to whitetails to casting, calling, and crows. You'll see stalking fish, fixing poles, rainbow trout, and snowy owls, setting traps, drilling holes, earthworms, and waterfowls. Whether you're a fan of the Eagles, Browns, Bears, or Giants, or of Joe and Stan and the Mountain Man, or some Tom Duck or Harry, watch hiking, frying, riding, tying, skiing, and flying on Pennsylvania Outdoor Life, Saturday at 7.
Good morning, everyone. It's Thursday, and right now it's coming up on 9 minutes before 7. Jay is here with sports. That snow looks ominous, Jay, in your ski report.
Good morning, Frank. Well, it's just around the corner, as you probably well know. Good morning, everybody. They won't be worrying about snow for Penn State, at least, this coming December 26th, because Penn State is going to the December 26th Aloha Bowl. This, at least, according to the Associated Press as of this morning. The Nittany Lions, who after losing their first 3 games appear destined to spend the bowl season at home for the first time in 14 years, will play either UCLA or Washington in the 2nd annual Aloha Bowl. Penn State officials declined to comment on that report, saying bowl bids could not be announced until Saturday night at 6 p.m. Well, today's blast of cold Canadian air is a herald of things to come. And for the first-time skier, the cold, snowy weather of winter presents a great challenge, a challenge he or she has been waiting for a couple of months. You watch the experienced skier glide down the slopes almost effortlessly, but you'll be on skis for the first time. Your confidence is at an all-time high, so what's the next most important factor? According to ski shop manager John Danchek, it's the ski boot.
The boot is the most important link between the skier and the ski. Without a properly fitted boot, the skier essentially can't control his equipment out on the slope. So a boot designed for a beginner might not necessarily even exist. The idea is to get a good fitting boot, and that'll make the whole learning experience much easier for you.
This season's most talked about ski boot is this model. Its rear entry design, one buckle fastening, and air pump features make it a favorite boot even among the veteran skiers. The bindings, those silver locks in front and back of the boot, are considerably safe. For the novice, it'll be a binding with a greater release factor, since the beginner will fall more frequently. He won't get tangled up with the skis. Most importantly, no twisted knees. Since the new skier will look for ease of maneuverability, Danchek says it's the short ski.
Here, this small ski is approximately 4 feet tall. It would be considered a beginner ski because it's easier to steer, more maneuverable, much less awkward.
In summary, the novice skier should look for a good, solid ski boot and short skis and some excellent instructions. I figure you can put it all to work in about 3 weeks. If you'd like to relax in a different way, you might try the fishing game forecast, at least the indicator. 10:30 this morning looks like a good time, and if you're a night person, 11 p.m. tonight. Scratch that one, Frank.
And pretty soon it'll be the ice fishing in game forecast. Thank you, Jay. And now it's time to butt in with that story about the Great American Smokeout. It is going on now, and the American Cancer Society is asking those of you who do smoke to stop for just 24 hours. So as you open your eyes this morning to a new day, try and skip the cigarette. Do your heart and lungs a favor. Cancer Society says if you can stop for one day, you just might not pick up the cigarettes again. We'll have more on the effects of smoking at 12 noon today on Newswatch 16 midday. Newswatch 16 this morning continues in a moment with another look at today's forecast. But first, in case you'd like to check, here are last night's winning lottery numbers. The daily number, 439, and the big 4 winner is 9969. We'll be right back. It's 4 minutes before 7. Morning, everybody. 2:30 before 7. Let's get a quick look at that weather forecast, Noreen.
Thank you, Frank. A rush of cold air comes crashing in on us today. Outside right now, it's 37 degrees. It's breezy and chilly and damp outside. And we're looking for a day that is going to be very cool and windy, with temperatures remaining in the 30s. Snow flurries from time to time may cause a dusting in the valleys, with up to an inch possible in the higher elevations. Cloudy, breezy, and quite cold tonight. Sunshine with less wind tomorrow. Increasingly cloudy on Saturday, and rain is likely for Sunday. So the gusty winds are going to make it feel much colder today, Frank.
Thank you very much, Noreen. We'll be back at 25 after 7 with an update. Good Morning America's next. Have a good day, everyone.